people, and welcome back to my channel. I'm She's on a Budget, and today we are back for another video. A lot has changed since our last video. We are currently on lockdown in the UK. I don't want to go into things too much about it because I know everyone's situation is different, but for myself it has been a big transition. I'll go through what's going on with myself, how it's affecting my budget, and how I plan to move forward into this next month. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to close down March. Today is payday for myself. I get paid on the 26th of every month from my employer, and I'm so blessed and grateful to say that I still am in employment. I know a lot of people at the moment aren't in employment and they've had to either claim money from the government or borrow money from the government. So that's one thing that I'm really grateful for, that my full-time job allows me to still be paid during this time. So the last time I checked in with you guys was on the 14th of March, and it was during this week that a lot of things changed. All sporting events have been cancelled, and that included the competitions that were due to take place for my daughter on the 20th and 21st, as well as this coming weekend. So they have been cancelled. And if you're new to my channel, you may not know, but payments for competitions are taken a month in advance. So I received refunds back for both of these competitions, which was good, but she was very disappointed, as would a lot of other athletes, I suppose, who are in the same boat as her and have been training for the past year for these two competitions. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is my weekly check-in. This is where I go through my cash envelopes and check exactly how much money I've spent out of each envelope. I set myself a budget for each category at the beginning of the month. I'm just going to run through what I've actually spent, which is not a lot actually for food. The last check-in we were left with 21.27. I'd explained that I'd made 2 large purchases for food within a week and that I probably wouldn't need any food for a while, which turns out to be correct. And I only needed to go shopping once during the last few days really, which was great. So in total this week I've spent £1.35 plus 16.14, which is 17.49 for food. Which will leave me with £3.78 left out of that £160 budget. So we managed to stay nicely within that food budget for this month. I am planning now going forward though to increase this amount because of the extra time that we'll be spending at home now. I'm going to increase my food budget for next month slightly, but it was still good to see that I managed to stay well within it. The next is fuel. So fuel, we did quite a bit of driving around. Not only was I going back and forward to work still, there was quite a big shortage of food in our local supermarket, so I had to travel into London. Fuel, we used the full 70. And that's our favourite place. That was from our favourite place to buy petrol, which is Sainsbury's at the moment. And then utilities, it was our regular £20, and that was at the Co-op. I'm just showing you that that is in fact how much I spent from the utilities envelope. I was able to write it down before even turning the page because it's become so predictable now as to how much we spend on a weekly basis. So yeah, still contemplating I'm going to add it as a cash envelope for next month, but we'll see. I may just do it even though it's predictable. So weekly checking is done. I'm just going to now close down the rest of the month. So I'm just going to go through my main budget for March and just see how much we actually spent. So my actual main income was £1,668.17. I mentioned last month that my variable income went down by £600. My son lost his job and I lost some other variable income that I used to qualify for. So my variable income was down by quite a bit last month. And although my son has managed to get another job now, he hasn't actually been paid for it. So my income for that period was still £504.31. My actual income was as predicted. It was £2,172.48. As far as debts and expenses, I'm just going to run through exactly what I paid for each. Debt 4 was 20, 11 for debt 5, 80, 24 and 60. So my debts were as predicted. Tithe was 217, 156.22 for food. Utilities, £80. Fuel was 200. £64.80 for insurance. £1,050 for rent. 101 for canoe fees. £12.68 for my DVLA. That's my car tax. Virgin Media was 32. Apple was £2.49. Pet insurance was £8.96. So for pet insurance, I did predict it would be £4.48. I had taken out a new policy for my dog, and because it was the first month, they took a payment 2 weeks after I set up the actual direct debit, and then they took a second payment in March. This payment won't be due now until the middle of April. Okay, so my total for my actual spend is £2,120.15. Okay, discrepancies. So my food, as you know from my weekly check-in, we were under by £3.78. So that's plus £3.78. And for my pet insurance, you can see that I was over by £4.48. So this is minus £4.48. So in total, we've got £3.78 minus £4.48, which means that I was over by 70p. So that's minus £0.70, which goes there. My actual income, I'm just going to transfer it down here. My actual income was 2172.48, so it was as predicted. My actual expenses was 2120.15, so 70p over that. That means that my remaining amount, or what should have been left over, was £52.33. So looking at my transaction log, I'm now going to highlight this week to close down the money that I've spent out of my sinking funds and out of my emergency fund, which are the only two funds that we currently have at the moment. Emergency fund, unfortunately, I forgot to cancel a subscription. I was offered a small amount of money to take out a subscription and trial it for 30 days. And it turned out to bite me in the bum because I ended up paying nearly 7 times more than the actual money that I got to trial the subscription for. So I was really, really upset about that. I did try to ring the company, but they were having none of it. They offered me an extra month for free, but yeah, wasn't really happy about that. So that came out of my emergency fund. Pet insurance, as I said to you earlier, pet insurance came out twice last month because it's a new policy that I've taken out. So that came out of the emergency fund as well. We had some money go into the emergency fund though. We had 2 refunds, and then the last one, I added the money that I had from my canoe fund into my emergency fund a couple days ago. And the reason I did this is because British Canoeing have told us as parents that competitions will be postponed until after we are out of lockdown. So I don't need to have a sinking fund for canoeing running at this moment in time. So I've just transferred the money that is in there into my emergency fund for the time being. Just to get some end figures for these 2 funds. So for canoeing, we started with a balance of 20, we added 100, and then I'm going to take away the amount that I spent during the month. So 120 minus 39 minus 40 minus 1921 is 2179, which is the exact amount that I've transferred into my emergency fund. Then the emergency fund, we started with £220.97 at the beginning of the month. So 220.97, and we had which is £128.45. Okay, so I've closed down March's budget. I'm happy to see that we still have some money in our emergency fund. We have paused all of our sinking funds now for the time being. We managed to stay within budget, just slightly over, but 70 pence is, you know, neither here nor there. And yeah, I'm really, really happy about that. That's all for now, guys. I hope this video was useful. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Have a good week.